So millionaires have been flooding to this channel to give me advice. It's amazing. But before I get into that, I just wanted to thank everybody who's watched the channel over the last few weeks. If you're just watching for the first time, my name is Steve. This channel is basically about what my retirement plans are for next year when I turn 55. If you check out my other videos, I explain it in a bit more detail in there. But welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the channel if you've been here before. I wanted to talk about multi-millionaires giving me advice on the channel. The reason I know they're multi-millionaires is because a lot of the comments I've had have been talking about, even though I talk about on a video, I say things like, I've made some bad financial decisions in the past, I acknowledge that, it's got me where I am now and I'm dealing with it, etc. I can't change the past, right? These people are commenting and saying, you've made some terrible decisions in the past, you've made some absolutely awful financial decisions, how on earth have you got through life with making these financial decisions? So these people have obviously made all the right financial decisions in life. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you make all the correct financial or the right financial decisions in life, you have to be a multi-millionaire, surely. So it's fantastic. It feels like kind of celebrity status that I've got these absolute millionaire gurus. Now, you may note a hint of sarcasm, which we're very good at in the UK, because if I did have multi-millionaires flooding the channel, you know, I'd be very privileged. A multi-millionaire that I do know of is someone called Tony Robbins. Now, if Anthony Robbins, he's worth about $500 million, I think. So he's worth quite a bit. Now, I can guarantee, if he came on this channel, he would not make a comment like, your decisions in the past are rubbish, I wouldn't take any advice from you, you're useless, you can't do what you're doing, you can't retire on that amount of money, you're absolutely delusional, is another word that's been used. Oh, you're too sensitive to naysayers, you're too sensitive to detractors. You know, so I can't win either way. But I'm growing, right? I'm learning how to brush all this off, and I'm learning a lot about myself and a lot about other people just through the comments on this channel. It's amazing. But yeah, someone like Tony Robbins, no, he would say, go for it, get your dream, make sure your dream is big enough. He would say, take massive action towards your goal, and you can absolutely achieve anything you want, is what he would say. And that's because he did that. He went from literally nothing to absolute multi-millionaire status. You know, if that's what you want, that's not necessarily what I want. Money doesn't buy happiness, right? It might alleviate a lot of misery, but there's plenty of people who are financially rich and not rich in other ways. They're not happy. Whether you like him or not, Eminem wrote a song called The Fool, and in there one of his lyrics says, if you're going to critique me, you better be at least as good or better, which is why I assume that all these people are extremely wealthy. But no, what interests me more is that there are a massive amount of you who have viewed previous videos and commented and everything else. I mean, I don't know. This channel seems to be is growing very, very quickly and has a lot of views over the last month or so. Now, not everybody comments, right? Not everyone likes the video, not everyone comments, not everyone subscribes. But a lot of you, the majority of you that have commented, something has resonated with you, with my story. So maybe you see a bit of your story in my story. And for me, that's a really big responsibility, because I've got to show you this works. It may not work, but I believe it absolutely will. I've really no doubts at all. I know that the plans are going to change, and I've got something to tell you about actually a little bit later on that happened today, which is really odd. You know, talking about the universe or providence moving with you when you take massive action. But I'll tell you about that in a sec. But what's funny is, you know, reading all the comments, and I try to read every single comment. I have done so far, and there's lots of them. There's a couple hundred comments on each video, so there's a lot to get through. And I will try and reply to every comment that I feel is worth a reply to. You know, even some of the detractors. And what's amazing to me is that even some of the, I suppose you'd call naysayers, people who say that I can't do this plan is flawed from the start, are still saying they subscribe to the channel and they're going to carry on watching because they just can't wait to see how it all pans out, and they want to follow the journey, and it's like a white knuckle ride for them. Fantastic, amazing. I look forward to proving you wrong and disappointing you. On the other hand, there's a lot of other people who, you know, might, as I say, see part of your story and my story. I've had comments, you know, where people are saying they're taking inspiration from these videos, and I'm very humbled to hear that. Thank you. So it is a responsibility for me to get this right, but it's going to be an up and down journey. I have no doubt of that. Any journey towards a goal is going to be marred by all sorts of challenges and hurdles and everything else. And I remember someone saying, you know, you've got a hurdle in front of you, you go over it, under it, round it, which way you can, you get through it, or you charge through it, and to get to your goal. So that's what I'm going to do. So the story that I had, something weird happened today. Now I was talking about in the previous video about when you take massive action towards a goal, I was told providence moves, you know, the universe moves with you. And manifestation is a big thing on social media these days, and I've never really kind of got on with it, to be honest. You know, like manifesting a car parking space and it appearing, or manifesting someone bringing you a cup of coffee and stuff like that, or manifesting a load of money in your bank account. Never works for me. But what is weird, I went to a barbecue this afternoon down at my local boat club, and somebody was talking about a particular, they were talking about trying to get a postcode. There was two people talking together about a postcode, and then he mentioned the road name. And I thought, I know that road name. And I said, oh, are you talking about so-and-so road? And he goes, yeah. And I said, oh, what, down near so-and-so caravan park? There's like a caravan site down there of static caravans, and this is one of the options we'd looked into, is getting a static caravan in the UK. It's a big downsize, but the yearly fees are so expensive, you know, between anything from £5,000 to £10,000 a year, which is just ridiculous, and they carry on going up. Anyway, he says, oh yeah, I've just bought a caravan down there and my daughter's staying in the caravan, and you can stay there for 9 months of the year. Of course, my ears are pricking up thinking, oh yeah, okay. You know, I wonder what his fees are. And he says, yeah, they're amazing. They're like £1,300 per year for their fees, have been for years. Nobody is allowed to buy a caravan here. They're not let out for holidays or anything like that. There are a lot of old people here. They've been here for years. You'll never get, if you try and get on a waiting list, they'll just say, yeah, there's no caravans available. You'll never get in there unless you know someone. And I thought, well, I know him. And he's just bought a caravan for £5,000, £1,300 a year, because he knows someone in there. And there's a couple of other caravans that are being sold. They're going through probate because somebody died. And he said, yeah, well, you know me, you know, I can put a word in for you, and we can maybe get you to sort of jump that list, and if that's something you're interested in. I was like, yeah. And I was suddenly thinking, okay, so we get that. So you still have to have a UK residential address, which is no problem. We can use a family address. We could live there for up to 9 months of the year. Then we could travel to France. We could have a property in France, or we could just camp in a caravan for down the south of France for 3 months. I mean, unfortunately, it's December to March they close, so we'd have to go somewhere warm, or we could fly out somewhere. You know what I mean? That would make our money last a lot longer. So that was just interesting, and it just shows how when I think I said on the previous video that when you're looking for, not necessarily looking for an opportunity, but when you're absolutely focused on a goal, opportunities will arise that you wouldn't normally have picked up on. And I remember again another quote from way back when we were in business, somebody saying, when opportunity and preparedness meet, people call it luck. And of course it's not. The naysayers will call it, oh, well, you were lucky. So that's kind of playing out for us at the moment, because all I can think about, of course, and doing the channel and everything else is just making me think constantly about our plans and constantly about our goal of, you know, leaving the UK or buying a property, retirement, basically stopping working and figuring it out with what we've got. So it's funny how, you know, a lot of the advice, a lot of the stuff I've read in books and everything else is all playing out at the moment, you know. And I know the naysayers will say, well, you should have read that before, shouldn't you? You wouldn't be in this position. Yeah, whatever. I'm where I am now. It's all good, you know, and it's exciting. It really is exciting. It's exciting new change. It's helping me really get through the day. And, you know, I remember another quote was someone said, nothing happens unless first a dream. I think that's what they said. Carl Sandburg. Nothing happens without first a dream. Because that's right, isn't it? Anything, you know, wooden spoon, someone dreamed of it before it came into fruition. Everything you look around you, everything had to be a vision in someone's mind, unless it's natural, obviously. Anything man-made, anything concept that's man-made, an item that's man-made, had to be a dream in someone's mind first. And without that, it would never happen. So, if you are in a position where you're planning your retirement, or you've got a similar kind of situation to us, you're not really sure. Well, we are sure, but you're in a situation where you're really not sure what to do. Look, if you've got a goal, if you've got a vision, if you've got a plan, make that the only thing you think about. When you go to sleep at night, that's the first thing you see. That's the last thing you see. When you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you think about. Just think about that all day long. Get your plans in place as best you can. They won't be perfect. What's perfect in this world? Well, some of the people telling me, no, you can't do it, they're perfect, obviously. But you can't wait till it's perfect. I remember when we chose to have children, and we did choose to have 2 children, we ummed and ahed over it. We thought we can't afford it. We tried to do all the finances. We were working it all out and everything else. And I'm sure, again, these same people telling me I can't do this probably would have gone, I've done the numbers, mate. You're having a laugh. You can't afford to have kids, right? So if we waited until we could afford to have kids, we would have never had the beautiful kids that we have today. And it's the same with your dream. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect. And remember, and I remember being told this, your current circumstances are not your ultimate potential. I can't remember who said that. Skip Ross. There you go. That was from the old Amway days. He was a big Amway guru. Your current circumstances are not your ultimate potential. So, just because people can't see it in you right now, or even you can't see it in you right now, does not mean that it's not achievable. Absolutely not, So, look, as I said, the channel's growing. Thank you very much. Really appreciate all of your support. Really appreciate everyone who's stayed for more than one video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.